The following is a paid program brought to you by My Philly Lawyer. The views and opinions expressed are those of the sponsor and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the station and its management.
Good morning. Court Radio is now in session. Call 215-227-2727. When you've got legal questions, we've got the answers. This is Court Radio. And now here's your host, Dean Weitzman.
Good morning and welcome to Court Radio. I'm Dean Weitzman, and this is your hour to ask legal questions, one at a time, folks. And I'll give it my best shot. All you got to do is give me a call at 215-227-2727. That's the number for all your legal needs, especially this morning on Court Radio, but all week long at My Philly Lawyer. You can get through to my staff and myself by calling 215-227-2727. I got to tell you, I had a great time yesterday. I'm a little tired, but I was at the Be Beautiful Expo down at the Philadelphia Convention Center. Should be renamed the Are Beautiful Expo, but that's beside the point. So many really fabulous people came up to see me, shake my hands, take photos, and tell me how much they appreciated Court Radio. And I appreciate you folks. I really do. It wouldn't be the same without you. You know, you ask the questions, I try to answer them, we laugh, we have a good time, 7 o'clock, before you know it, it's 8, and the hour's over. So, do your job. Give us a call, 215-227-2727. Yeah, and what else happened yesterday? I spoke on a symposium on entrepreneurship. It was a full house. It was nice. It was a good time. And I just didn't realize that they were going to be able to. It seemed crazy to do that during the time of the flower show, but you know what? The convention center is humongous, and it all worked out. You know, everybody fit in place. Let's see what's going on in the news around town and around the world. Guess what? In Ohio, Bernie Sanders won. A big win in Ohio. I guess there's a lot of electoral votes there. But he did it by getting the law changed back to what it used to be, which shocked me, actually. The law in Ohio allows 17-year-olds to vote. My goodness, 17. I was a pimply-faced kid who was learning to drive or something at that age. But, you know, I guess there's not much of a difference between a 17 and an 18-year-old. They both have deformed brains or ill-formed brains at that point. So 17-year-olds pushed Bernie over the edge in Ohio. And Georgia, like Texas, could you believe this? Georgia, like Texas, just passed a campus carry law. I know this is where my bleeding heart liberalism comes into place, but I just don't think it's necessary for college students, also with ill-formed brains still, especially the boys. College students are carrying weapons, to class. You get angry with your professor, some, Indian who's trying to teach you calculus, and you go nuts one day and you've got a gun sitting on your hip. That's a real good prescription. I get, freedom of carrying and the Second Amendment and all that stuff, but I don't know. See how people feel about that. Before you know it, the entire country is going to be carrying. And, you can go, Monica told me she was down in Texas giving speeches and whatnot at Texas A&M. And in the restaurant, there are signs posted. It said, not permitted to no open carrying in this restaurant. So there's parts of this country that are so unlike us. You can actually be walking around with your gun on your hip, open, like you're a policeman. It's crazy. I don't know. I don't know. It just doesn't feel right. And of course, we're different than every other free country in the world that doesn't do that. Does that make us right and all the rest of the gazillion people wrong? I don't know. 215-227-2727 is the number to Court Radio. And all you got to do is give me a call if you've got legal questions. I just just might have the answer. Although Merrill from South Jersey yesterday, who was at the Be Beautiful, and it's not a she, because Merrill, Merrill can swing either way, but this Merrill was clearly a man, or at least he was portraying himself as a man. And Merrill had a question about redeeming your property if it's been lost to a sheriff's sale. And frankly, I'm fairly certain there's a mechanism to redeem your property up until the time that it's actually sold to an actual buyer at sheriff's sale. So once the sheriff grabs your property and takes it, it's still in that never land where you can kind of take some action, either filing for a bankruptcy or paying the debt, and you can get your property back. But once it's sold for fair value to a third party, I'm not sure, but I believe that the right of redemption is gone. Crazy things happened in Chicago at the Trump rally. Again, Bernie Sanders supporters and various activist groups broke that rally up so that they couldn't have it. And Trump moved on to another area. Is he going to win? Is he going to win first, I guess, is he going to win the Republican primary? I guess that's the first question. And how ridiculously dumb is the Republican Party to have allowed themselves to be gotten to this point where a billionaire who really doesn't even know all 50 states gets to be, their nominee for president. Oh, my God. Well, I think the Republicans should go out of business. This is like it's a weird time. But, it just goes to show you that there's not a whole lot of choice in the Republican Party that is moderate, normal, not out on the fringe, not too ultra-conservative or ultra-religious or ultra whatever. And, it's just I don't know. God bless America. 215-227-2727. Let me talk to Michelle from Ben Salem, who's on line one. Hi, Michelle. Welcome to Court Radio.
Hi.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. It was a long day yesterday, and then right into today, and I lost an hour's sleep and all that stuff. But I'll sleep longer some other time. It's cool.
Yeah.
So, what's your question?
My question is, if you're a minor, when you're arrested, shouldn't it be expunged off your record?
Well, it depends. If the arrest of a minor results in a conviction for a felony, then no. If the arrest results in no conviction and the charges are ultimately dropped, then yes, you can get that expunged. Right now, there's a new expungement law, and it's certainly if you've committed a crime of a misdemeanor 2 or 3, you can get that expunged after a period of time has expired after, you've been crime-free for a period of time, I believe 10 years.
Oh.
So,
Okay.
But arrest records, just the arrest record, can be expunged if it didn't result in ultimately in a conviction. But if it resulted in a conviction, some of those can be expunged and others not.
Oh, okay. So is a conviction probation?
Yes, but if you've gotten probation, then you've either pled guilty or were found guilty, because probation is a criminal sentence of sorts. You don't go to jail, but you're watched by somebody, and yeah, that's if you've got probation, you were found guilty.
And that's a conviction.
But
okay.
as a minor, you're not. It's not. They use different language. You're adjudicated a delinquent if you were tried in the as a minor. Then you're adjudicated a delinquent, and usually that information is sealed so that it's not easy for somebody to see what happened with regard to a minor. At some point, though, as time passes and he's eligible to, or she's eligible to have those records expunged, if it's possible under the new law, then they should still move to have them expunged.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Michelle. Thanks for calling Court Radio. Have a great Sunday.
You too. Thank you. Bye-bye.
215-227-2727. They're queuing up. You know, we're going to have Court Radio's, or I should say, My Philly Lawyer's own Irina Shiloh on the show momentarily. Irina does all of the domestic relations for My Philly Lawyer and does it well. So I'm going to save this. I'm going to save you, Kelly from West Philly. Hang in there because you've got a child support question, and I want to have Irina handle that. So let's bring Irina on the line. Good morning, Irina.
And good morning to all of our listeners.
Yeah, it's good to have you on the show again.
Thank you.
So I was telling the listeners that, you handle all the domestic relations, but, you had a very big case that recently was decided by the Pennsylvania Supreme Court. And so few cases actually make it that far in litigation. And not only did you get to the Supreme Court, but you won the case as well. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yes, it's correct that it's very rare for anyone to get to the Supreme Court because they choose the cases in a discretionary way, which means they don't take every case by right like the Superior Court does. It's the highest court in our state, and it only takes cases that it deems important and it wants to change the law or there's something else. But in this case, it was to change the law. So I advocated for this change for about 3 years, very fervently, and finally I managed to get to the Supreme Court. They accepted my appeal, and I won against the opposing party. And the law changed. It's a child support law, and it involves third parties when a step-parent wants custody of a child, and it actually goes to court to litigate against the natural parent who's fit. So we're not talking about a parent who can't take care. We're not talking about foster parents. We're talking about a step-parent who divorced the parent and now wants to act as a real parent. So in that case, this step-parent said, well, I don't owe the children any duty of support. I want to have them. I want to restrict the natural parent's parental rights, but I don't want to pay child support. I don't have a duty to support them. They're not my kids. So the Supreme Court said, no, that's not true. We'll change the law.
Yeah, but that's interesting that it took this long. It seems almost like a natural conclusion. If you're a step-parent and you fight to get custody of your child, the child of your soon-to-be ex, and you get custody, and you are the primary physical custodial parent, it seems like, yeah, dude, you got to support them now. I mean, why were you fighting for them if not? So, it also gets rid of the people who are fighting for kids just to get a paycheck.
Yeah, and the Supreme Court said it's regardless. It didn't say explicitly, but it said once you've established those rights for the courts, which means whether he or she would have partial custody or equally shared or primary custody, doesn't really matter. Once you're trying to tell the court, I am the parent, so I have rights, you have duties. And that's very interesting that you brought up why it took so long, because I think that's actually more interesting that our court system doesn't work until it works, until it gets to a certain point where you get the judge that's reasonable, or you get the Supreme Court that's obviously the highest court and supposedly the most reasonable. So that's a sad thing, I think, in our court system, that it doesn't always work.
Right, because before this case, there were a lot of instances where children were taken by the step-parent and they didn't have to pay. And so you kind of level the playing field for a whole lot of people, because now trial court judges don't need to reinvent the wheel here. When you're a custodial parent, even if you're a step parent, you're going to have to pay support. And the courts throughout the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania will have to assess a support obligation to those parents because of you, Irina, and that is cool. So, all right, we got a caller on the line who's got a support question. Kelly from West Philly. How are you, Kelly, on line 2? Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
See, look, this is just the way it's supposed to work. You call with a support question, talking to a lawyer who was just recently in the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania on a support issue. Isn't it nice, Kelly?
Yes, it's great.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I love you too. So, because you called this morning. And were you over at the Be Beautiful Expo yesterday?
No, I was at the convention center, though. I actually was at the flower show.
Ah, you were so close to me, so close.
Yeah, I was close.
I had a whole lot of people who came up to me and wanted to get like a photo op, and so one of them was named Kelly. So I just want to make sure that
Oh,
yeah,
it wasn't me.
Oh, damn. Okay, so Kelly, what's your question for Irina?
Hi, Irina.
Hi, Kelly.
My question is, I am recently engaged, and I have a 14-month-old son from a previous relationship. Now, me and my fiance were talking the other day, and he's willing to give him his last name once we get married, because I told him, well, I want to keep my last name and just hyphenate it so that way my son doesn't feel like, why is your last name this and my last name that? And, those questions come up. So my mom told me that if I do that, then I would no longer be able to receive child support, because once he takes on his name, then he becomes, responsible for.
No, one has nothing.
True?
One has nothing to do with the other. You can change the child's name, but now you would have to get the father's consent to change your child's name. Is he in the picture?
That's a whole other
He's paying
thing.
child support.
I would have to get his father to communicate with me at some point.
Yeah, well,
and that's kind of why.
If he doesn't give you the consent, then you won't be able to change the name.
Okay. All right.
All right, Kelly.
Yeah.
Thanks for calling Court Radio. Have a great Sunday.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
You too.
So, Irina, you're saying that without the consent of the natural father, it's impossible to change the name? Or could you file a petition and implore the court and have them change the name?
Well, I'm not sure if the court will allow that. I guess you can always ask the court for anything, but what would they say?
Yeah,
What's the reason why she wants to change the name? Because of, so that the fiance, I mean, she's not even married. At this moment, the judge would say, well, you're not even married.
At this moment, yes, but I'm presuming she ultimately gets married. Though, I say it, but I guess in my heart of hearts, I believe that they wouldn't permit a name change, because what is a person? The name is such a critical part of who we are. And if the father is obligated, the natural father, the biological father, is obligated to support his child, and in this country, the child takes the name of his father or her father, then I think that's part and parcel. You have a duty to and an obligation to support your child and to parent your child. Your child has an obligation to carry your name. And the child, I guess, could petition the court at some point for a name change, but it's not going to happen by way of Kelly doing it without natural dad's consent.
Yeah, also the circumstances of this case are that the child is just a baby and she has a fiancé and already wants to change his name. What if she has a few more men, which would not be unusual or abnormal, right, for a young woman? But every time she would change the child's name, I mean, it doesn't sound like the court would allow that. I agree.
Yeah. 215-227-2727. If you've got marital issues or domestic relations issues. Today, we've got Irina Shiloh from My Philly Lawyer on the show, and she'll tackle your tough questions one at a time. All you got to do is give us a call at 215-227-2727. Let me see here. Irina?
Yes?
I have some questions for you. There's companies now. There's actually corporations that put together a man and a woman who want to co-parent. I didn't realize this, but, Monica comes up with these crazy ideas. And there are companies out there who will take a man and a woman and put them together, match them up like a matchmaking organization. But they're not getting in bed with each other on Friday nights, or, they're not, she's not making him dinner. He's not bringing home a paycheck. They're merely, it's kind of weird. They're merely saying, hey, we both want to have a kid. We can't find anybody that we think it's the right person to have this kid with. And so we're going to have it together. You've got the right IQ, the right skin color, the right this, the right that. All, you went to the right school. You match all my criteria. We're going to have a kid together and co-parent without having a romance or romantic relationship. Is this something that you can see happening a lot in the future?
I don't know. Maybe many years ago when the sperm bank started, we would have thought this is silly, this will never work. But obviously it worked, especially for same-sex lesbian women, partners who used it to have anonymous donors. And now look what happens. It's very prevalent. So who are we to tell, right? We might laugh at it and think it's not going to work, which is even worse because people will try it. And if it doesn't work, people will end up in courts. So there's going to be a lot of business for family lawyers there.
Yeah. I think this is going to open up a whole new kettle of fish. There's going to actually be a contract that has to be entered into between the mother of the child and the father of the child as to what their obligations are. I can't even imagine all the clauses that would have to be in this contract to kind of to consider all of the issues that one would face.
Yeah, I don't understand. Would one be the biological parent and the other just a parent by agreement, or would they both be donors?
I think it could be. I think it could be either way. I think it could be either way, and it may even be. I think it could be either way. The child could be biologically the issue of both individuals. Do you think they had they had sex one night, just one good night of sex, and then they have a child, or perhaps it's all done in a petri dish and very clinical, and then inserted, and the baby comes out 9 months later.
Yeah, I think if they're both biological parents, it's like a real marriage, except that they are not in love with each other. So any other laws regarding biological parents would govern. If one of them is the biological parent and not the other, then it would be the same as any other in loco parentis law involved, which in loco parentis is just a fancy Latin word for anyone who's acting like a parent. So it could be a step-parent or a same-sex partner, which we already have such laws in place, case laws, not statutory law. But if they're both, if one of them is an adoptive parent and the other, I can't see that it would change the law just because the two of them are not in love, but they still live together and raise the child. So I guess the same laws would be applied. And
now that you've changed the law in Pennsylvania with regard to step parents, even if the person is not a biological parent, there's a duty and an obligation legally that the courts have already, rendered a verdict on that puts that, financial burden on the step parent as well. So yeah, that's true. Yeah. So if they already entered this contract the day before I changed the law, now it changed their contract. Well, maybe they would also have a provision for, the reason I just want to add, the reason why it's important to change the laws is because it prevents people from doing certain things. Like, I really think that in my case, the step-parent would not have sought custody at all had he known that he would have been liable for child support. So this is why it's important to change laws, because they deter actions in certain cases. I can understand that. 215-227-2727. Let's talk to Melissa from Coatesville on line 2. Hi, Melissa. Welcome to Court Radio.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great, thanks. Thanks for calling in. You have a child support question, and Irene is on the phone. So what's your question?
Okay, I have. I'm actually raising my grandson, and his dad pays child support. But he got incarcerated, and not because of child support. He got incarcerated for other reasons. But we went to domestics about it, and now he doesn't have to pay child support for the whole time he was incarcerated.
Irina?
Yes, so he's incarcerated and not paying child support?
What's that?
Yes, he's incarcerated, and the court said that during the incarceration, there's no obligation to pay child support.
Yeah, well, unless he has some savings, I don't see how he can pay child support. He's not making any money. It will still go in arrears. He will owe that money when he gets out of jail, but while he's in jail,
They said he doesn't.
Yeah, because here's the deal. He doesn't have earnings, and he doesn't have an earning capacity. You see, you can't just sit at home and not pay child support and say, hey, I don't have a job, because the court will assign an earning capacity to you. They're going to say, hey, you've got all your arms and legs. You could go out and do X, Y, and Z job. You can make $8 an hour. You're going to owe child support, even if without a job. But when you're locked up, he doesn't even have the capacity to earn money. And I think that's the key here. If the court says, hey, he's in jail, he doesn't have the capacity to earn a nickel, and he's not earning any money. Now, if he had passive income, if he was some millionaire and his money was making money while he's sitting in jail, he'd pay child support. But he's not, and therefore there's no income coming in and no capacity. And I think the court says now during this period, we can't assess child support because this guy doesn't have anything.
Okay. Am I under the wrong impression? Don't they get locked up for not paying child support?
Yeah, for a short while until they wise up and call mom or somebody and get some money and pay down the child support. That whole lockup for child support is merely an effort to get them to abide by their obligations. It's not a long-term lockup usually. And the funny thing is, while, as Irina said, their arrears, the money they've owed in the past, isn't going to change when they're locked up. It's still there. And so, but they might be not having to pay child support for the 2 or 3 weeks while they're locked up. So that's kind of, it's the court's actually putting them in jail, which could obviate the need to pay child support, but it's short term, and the arrears don't disappear. But, it's a funny way of the law.
So him being incarcerated for a whole other reason, that should still be on the arrears, or that just gets pushed out the window?
No, it never gets pushed out the window. The arrears are the arrears. In fact, I know clients who come to me and say, hey, I have arrears from 30 years ago, and they're coming after me. And they it never dies.
Okay.
But
thank you so much.
You're welcome. Have a great Sunday.
And you too. Bye-bye.
215-227-2727. Irina, stay on the line. We got to take a break. Sponsors have to have their word. Be back in 2 minutes.
You were just hurt. It's not your fault. You're in physical pain. How do you get better? Who is going to help you recover? West Philadelphia Associates has highly trained doctors and staff that can help you today. Don't wait at a hospital. West Philadelphia Associates will work with your attorney, providing documentation of all injuries and the best plan for treatment to get you back to the life you deserve. With diagnostic studies to better detect injuries, West Philadelphia Associates doctors and staff will help you recover. West Philadelphia Associates, here to help you get better because you deserve it. Call 215-471-4714.
For 20 years, Center City Medical Center has provided premium expert medical services for Philadelphia. Whether you need musculoskeletal rehab or an immigration physical, call 888-945-EXAM. Our board-certified physicians have more than 80 years' experience from post-injury rehab to DNA paternity testing. To make an appointment at one of our 3 convenient locations, call 888-945-EXAM. Get premium expert care. Center City Medical Center, serving Northeast, North, and Center City, Philadelphia. If you've been injured on the job and are entitled to workers' comp, you need someone fighting for you from the start. Call Jeffrey Gross, attorney at law. Don't rely on your employer or insurance company to get it right. Call 215-512-1500. If you're entitled to workers' comp or it's being challenged, Jeffrey Gross can help get the money you deserve, and he won't get paid unless you get paid. Call 215-512-1500. Jeffrey Gross, attorney at law, representing Pennsylvania's injured workers for more than 20 years. You've had an accident and can't work, but your legal case seems like it's taking forever and the bills are piling up. At ThriveVest.com, we're here to help. If you have a pending lawsuit, call us at 888-697-7352. ThriveVest.com has flexible solutions to get you money now. And if your case doesn't settle or you don't receive an award, you owe us nothing. Call 888-697-7352. ThriveVest.com. Get the money you need to get on with your life.
The following is a paid program brought to you by My Philly Lawyer. The views and opinions expressed are those of the sponsor and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the station and its management.
Need more legal answers? Here's more Court Radio with your host, Dean Weitzman.
Good morning and welcome back. It's still Court Radio, and I'm still Dean Weitzman. It is Sunday, February the 13th. And today you should have pushed your clocks ahead last night and you lost an hour's sleep like I did. But don't be grumpy. Call Court Radio and ask me a question. 215-227-2727. I think that's why we had kind of a slow start this morning. You know, everybody's a little tired and,
Still sleeping, maybe?
Yeah. Some people are calling from their bedrooms. 215-227-2727. We've got Irina Shiloh. That's disemboweled voice you hear of a woman is the one and only Irina Shiloh from My Philly Lawyer. Good morning again, Irina.
Good morning.
You know, folks, we were talking this morning about domestic relations issues, primarily child support, but, whatever your questions you've got about your no-good-for-nothing ex, you can certainly give us a shot today, and we'll do our best to answer it. Irina handles all the domestic relations for My Philly Lawyer, and she's situated in the Northeast office at 10819 Bustleton Avenue, Bustleton and Somerton. And that's more likely than not where you'll end up meeting her if you want to come in for a consultation on a domestic relations issue with My Philly Lawyer. But she goes to the courts of Philadelphia and surrounding counties, Bucks, Montgomery, Chester, Delaware County. We handle all those counties and domestic relations in them. So feel free to give us a call during the week at 215-227-2727. Irina's very patient, way more patient than I am. She'll give you some time on the phone and chat it up about your problem and then figure out what it's going to cost you. On domestic relations issues, there's always an hourly fee. It's not like being represented by me on a personal injury case where I represent you on a contingent fee agreement. There is no contingent fee agreements in domestic relations. It's illegal.
I won't take 40% of your child.
No. You got to come up with the cash. But let's talk to Felicia from Northeast Philly, who's got a custody question. Hi, Felicia, and welcome to Court Radio.
Hi, Dean. How are you?
I'm wonderful. So what's your question?
My question is, I've been married 2 years, and my husband got a daughter that he brought into the marriage. She was 11 years old. And the mom, the mom said she would never talk to me, but the daughter comes over to spend the weekend. She comes to every weekend. I take care of her, and she goes back. But the mom don't want to keep her, and she's acting crazy. She would call my house and when the girl come for the weekend. The little girl have a cell phone. We bought her a cell phone so she'd be able to communicate with her because I said, since you don't want to talk to me when she's in my house, you can talk to her on her cell phone. So my husband and I purchased a cell phone for her. So, but when the girl come over to spend time, she would call her, what's going on? Is your stepmom scream at you? Is this, is that? So my husband told her, if you're going to be acting the way you're acting, then we will have to
go to court. Either I keep her or you keep her. Whatever way is better so I can be in peace. But she said that she don't want to keep the girl. She don't want to have full custody of her, but she just keeps, like, oh, my gosh, I would say torment. That's what I'm going to call it because she don't let her rest.
Well, when you're calling a lawyer, there's no other ways but to do it in a legal way, which means you either agree and submit that agreement to the court, or you have the court decide. You would have to file a petition for custody or modification of the custody order. Now, if you want some alternatives, like counseling or something like that, then I can't help you with that. But the legal avenue is to file a petition to modify the custody order. But from what I'm understanding is that nobody wants to deal with this girl, in which case
yes.
you can't file for
because we told her, if you want to keep her, that's fine. The dad can go over and see her. I don't have a problem with it. She said, no, I'm too busy. I can't keep her.
Okay, so the mother doesn't, hold on, the mother doesn't want the child, and the father also wants to give the child to the mother. You can't file for custody and ask for the other parent to. I mean, I've never seen that.
No, I think what they're looking to do is to modify custody so that dad becomes the custodial parent.
Oh, he wants more custody. Okay,
yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand that. Oh, yeah.
Does he have that?
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
of course. He should file for custody.
And you know, the court won't take kindly to either parent interfering with the custody arrangement that the court has laid down. And that means that natural mom can't be calling the house and causing all kinds of havoc and problems with her daughter and with you while you have the child, and vice versa. And so maybe getting before a judge will straighten out the natural mother as well with regard to this type of behavior. So it may be good for everybody. It's something to explore. And give us a call during the week at 215-227-2727. All right, Felicia, take care, dear, and good luck with that.
Okay.
Yeah, there's so much emotion involved in this whole thing. You know, I waited to get divorced until after my kids were older. That's why I didn't want any of this.
Yeah, that's probably smart.
Yeah, I guess.
Cases are very painful, and it's normal that people feel this way. It's so normal to hate your ex, and it's so bad for the kids.
Really? I don't hate my ex. I wish her all the best in life. And, yeah, but it just didn't work for us, so it was time to move on. 27 years, move on. Ha, ha, ha. I guess I could have done it sooner, but I didn't. But anyway, the kids are happy. I'm going to go on vacation with my 2-year-old, my 25-year-old, and my 24-year-old. That's amazing. I am blessed. 215-227-2727. You got custody issues, domestic relations problems. We got Irina on the phone, Irina Shiloh from My Philly Lawyer. Hey, let's talk to Anita from Elkton, Maryland. Hi, Anita, and welcome to Court Radio. Wow, you get the signal all the way down in Elkton, huh?
Yes. Hi, how you doing? Good morning.
Good morning.
My question is that I had two sons. Well, I had two sons. One is 17 right now. So we child support for my ex-husband. He remarried and went to Virginia. But when my question is that he works, and then I wanted to know about him income tax. Like, why don't they take his income tax and give it to the child? I went up there one time and asked them. They said they were going to look into it, and it never happened. I was wondering, how did he get away with that? Like,
so let me understand this. You're the father of the 17-year-old is in Virginia working and living, and your son has a child support order against him, and there are arrears. He owes your son.
Yeah, I have a child support order. My other son's in Penn State, 22. So my two sons I had by him, I was getting child support. So now I'm just getting child support for one of them.
Right.
And he remarried, and he lives in Virginia.
Uh-huh.
And so I just wanted to know that his income tax, when you get your income tax when you're in arrears, they'll take your income tax and they give it to you. They haven't done that. Like, what?
How much is the arrears?
It's like $5,000.
Okay.
5,000 or more.
And what court is the order in? What state?
In Maryland.
Okay. So for one thing, you understand that domestic relations and what this types of laws are state dependent and fall under the various states' enforcement procedures. And so we're handling legal issues in Pennsylvania and maybe New Jersey, but Maryland, you're going to have to talk to Maryland counsel on that. Of course, the federal government snatches, and passes along child support, and that's that's across the country. If you owe child support, you could lose your tax return to the child support when there's an arrears.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how the federal government enforces that. Irina, do you know?
I'm not sure, but they will seize the refund. But the problem is if the person, the obligor, is paying taxes regularly, then the child support will likely be garnished from his or her wages. So the problem is when people work under the table or
Do you not know where he's working in Virginia?
Yeah, I know where he's working, and the child support people know where he's working, and he just always wondering how does he deal with that. Like, because my friends in Pennsylvania or whatever, they had got a child support check, because they had got their income tax back. Their husband got their income tax back, and
Yeah, when you say he got income tax, you mean he got a refund from the IRS?
Yeah, a refund. Yeah, that's what I'm
Well, the judge would still have to, at least in Pennsylvania, the judge would still have to order that. It doesn't really go automatically. Just like the wage garnishment is ordered by the domestic relations, the courts.
Well, there's your answer. Then what you need to do is file a petition in Virginia where he's working, because that's the court that would have the power to garnish his wages in Virginia. And so the child support can move to the new jurisdiction where the father lives and works. Child custody stays where the child is living and doesn't move with the child until the child is in a new jurisdiction for over 6 months. So your child custody order would emanate from Maryland, but the child support order should happen in Virginia. You need to go to the county and where where the father lives, find yourself a lawyer down there, have them file a support petition for the arrears. You're going to have that arrears transferred to Virginia, and then the court in Virginia will have the power to seize and issue an order to seize from his paycheck a certain amount of money for the arrears and the current child support, and they will also have, as Irina said, the power to order the federal government to seize his tax returns.
Yeah, if there already is a child support order with any court, then to continue with this court is proper, because they will chase him then. And even if he's in California, they will garnish the wages. I've had that where Pennsylvania garnished wages in California of the father. So Pennsylvania continues to have jurisdiction even though the father left. Maybe it's case by case, I don't know. But in this case, that's what happened.
How long has he been in Virginia?
Been in there for ever since my son was in middle school. Like, he's been in there for more than over 5 years.
Yeah, I really think that you're going to get your best effect. Well,
if I go to Virginia.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
All right. Take care. Have a great Sunday.
All right.
215-227-2727. Let's talk to LaToya from West Philly on child support issue. Hi, LaToya. Welcome to Core Radio.
Good morning.
Aren't you happy I got around to getting you?
Yeah. I waited a little bit, but it's okay.
You're very patient, LaToya, and I thank you for that.
No problem.
All right. What's your question?
My question, or my situation is a little bit similar to the previous caller. but mine is within Pennsylvania. So my child's father lives out in Bucks County. I live out in Philadelphia. So I had this issue where as though, where were we going to settle? Like, where was the court dates and stuff like that going to take place? First, it was out in Philadelphia, and he was like, oh, he lives in Bucks County. They sent me out to Doylestown, and then Doylestown sent me back to Philadelphia. And then it was like, okay. At the time, he didn't work. So now, or he was working, but he didn't want to, I guess he lost his job. So now he's working underneath the table. So this is the issue here where my situation, I feel, is a little complex. I don't know if I can do anything with him working underneath the table because, I guess that's under the table. So I also was trying to get him to, I guess, do visitations too. But they told me that I couldn't file for him. Is that true also? Like, I couldn't file for him to do visitations. Like, he had to file for himself because I wanted him to, be in his daughter's life. Like, he doesn't want to pay. He doesn't want to really be there. Like, I'm just trying to get something out of him, and I feel like I'm not going anywhere with it.
Well, in theory, you could, and it might not be a bad decision for you. I mean, they're correct. There's nothing that you can do to force someone, but enforcement is different from just using it as a strategy. So you could file for custody. The court won't ask any questions. What do you want and why you're filing? And then once you are at the conciliation or mediation, depends on where you file, you can talk to him and the mediator, and maybe he will decide to see the child. Maybe the mediator, conciliator, whoever is there, the master, will convince him that it's good for the child to have a father, and maybe your wishes will come true.
It is a long game. How old's your child, your son? She's daughter. Sorry.
It's okay. She's 8 and she'll be 9 this year. So I've been fighting, and he barely pays. So it's like he's getting away with murder. And then the thing with the taxes too, if he's working underneath the table, he's not liable to taxes. Yeah.
So. These things can get sticky and complicated, and it feels like you're always trying to run uphill, and I would say that there are times when litigating these cases, there's an outcome and it feels good and right, and you get to the right point. But oftentimes it's a lifelong struggle using the courts legally to affect, to enforce your child's right to have a parent and to have support. But it doesn't feel good, You're always fighting, and you're always feeling like you got to get back in there and fight some more. Anyway, so sometimes it's beneficial. Many times it just it's just what you have to do. We got to run. I got to take a break. LaToya, thanks for calling Court Radio. And if you need to talk to Irina, all you got to do is give us a call at 215-227-2727 during the week.
Thank you.
Bye now. Folks, we'll be right back in 2 minutes.
You were just hurt. It's not your fault. You're in physical pain. How do you get better? Who is going to help you recover? West Philadelphia Associates has highly trained doctors and staff that can help you today. Don't wait at a hospital. West Philadelphia Associates will work with your attorney, providing documentation of all injuries and the best plan for treatment to get you back to the life you deserve. With diagnostic studies to better detect injuries, West Philadelphia Associates doctors and staff will help you recover. West Philadelphia Associates, here to help you get better because you deserve it. Call 215-471-4714.
For 20 years, Center City Medical Center has provided premium expert medical services for Philadelphia. Whether you need musculoskeletal rehab or an immigration physical, call 888-945-EXAM. Our board-certified physicians have more than 80 years' experience from post-injury rehab to DNA paternity testing. To make an appointment at one of our 3 convenient locations, call 888-945-EXAM. Get premium expert care. Center City Medical Center, serving Northeast, North, and Center City, Philadelphia. If you've been injured on the job and are entitled to workers' comp, you need someone fighting for you from the start. Call Jeffrey Gross, attorney at law. Don't rely on your employer or insurance company to get it right. Call 215-512-1500. If you're entitled to workers' comp or it's being challenged, Jeffrey Gross can help get the money you deserve, and he won't get paid unless you get paid. Call 215-512-1500. Jeffrey Gross, attorney at law, representing Pennsylvania's injured workers for more than 20 years. You've had an accident and can't work, but your legal case seems like it's taking forever and the bills are piling up. At ThriveVest.com, we're here to help. If you have a pending lawsuit, call us at 888-697-7352. ThriveVest.com has flexible solutions to get you money now. And if your case doesn't settle or you don't receive an award, you owe us nothing. Call 888-697-7352. ThriveVest.com. Get the money you need to get on with your life.
The following is a paid program brought to you by My Philly Lawyer. The views and opinions expressed are those of the sponsor and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the station and its management.
Need more legal answers? Here's more Court Radio with your host, Dean Weitzman.
Good morning and welcome back. It's Court Radio and I'm Dean Weitzman. It's still Sunday, February the 13th. It's going to be in the high 50s today and overcast. That's my weather forecast because I am a paid announcer. Not really. On this radio station. Ba-boom. All right. I'm joined on the line. I got Irina Shiloh.
Good morning again.
Good morning, My Philly Lawyer's domestic relations queen, who hangs at the Northeast office. So, Irina, we got Randy on line 2 from Northeast Philly, probably right around the corner from the office. Hi, Randy. Welcome to Court Radio.
Hi. Good morning, Dean. Good morning, Irene.
Good morning.
You have the distinction, Randy, of being the one and only male person who called today on a child support issue. And for that, Randy from the Northeast, we're going to give you a My Philly Lawyer t-shirt. So stay on the line. Do not get off the line. Monica will get your address and we'll hook you up. So what's your question?
Well, I have 2 children and I'm already on child support and they take the child support out of my check. So really I have 2-part question. She is taking me back for an increase because she decided to put the kids in private school, in a Catholic school. And I was wondering, we live in the greater Northeast. Like I grew up there. I went to a great public school up there. And if we offer a public school, am I responsible to now have to pay for Catholic school?
It's possible. It's not a yes or no answer. I've seen people being ordered to pay, and I've seen people not being ordered to pay. Basically, if you share legal custody, you both have the right to make the decision. So before you go for child support, there has to be a joint decision about changing the school. Now, if the school where the kids are currently, or they were in the public school, if it's a bad school, because Catholic schools are usually better than public schools, some public schools, then you can argue that you never agreed to this and that the previous school was good. But if the previous school was bad, now how do you prove a bad school? I don't know. You would have to show some ratings. You're saying that it's a good school. Show some ratings to the court and argue that the school shouldn't be changed. And then if the mother decides unilaterally to change the school, then she should be responsible for. How old are the kids?
Well, this is kindergarten and pre-K. They haven't even been to public school yet. She just went straight for Catholic school. I mean,
yes, once they start the Catholic school, if you agree to that, then you'll have to keep paying for as long as they go to this school, because the court is not going to change it just because your income went down or you lost your job temporarily. So you would have the obligation, just like with anything else. Once you started with your child, you want your child to keep that. So now is the time to argue that. If you disagree with the mother's decision, you can file petition for modification of the custody order, even though it sounds like it's a support thing, but it's actually a legal custody thing. Legal custody means the right to make important decisions about the children in terms of medical, educational.
I haven't agreed, but what I did was they've been taking out the child support, and she's been complaining to my family about money. So I started giving her an extra $250 a month. I've been giving her a check, and I've been giving her I fill out the check in the memo. I would say child support. Now, when we go back for the increase, since I've been giving her that, will they automatically increase that and make me continue to give her that?
No, that doesn't prove that you can pay more. Your salary proves. And they will follow the support guidelines. They will not, unless if do you live with someone else?
No.
Okay. Well, no, that's not nobody's gonna punish you for already paying something, but you're not gonna get credit for the money that you gave her outside the order unless she wants to give you credit by agreement.
Okay.
So the bottom line, here's the bottom line. Let's wrap this up because we do have to go soon. The bottom line is that if you're not happy with the decision that she's trying to make to put them in Catholic school, you need to file a petition to modify the custody so that the court gets to decide this issue as to where the children are going to go to school because you two can't agree on it. And if the court decides, yeah, the public schools are just fine and dandy where they live and they'll get a great education, or maybe you decide, hey, I don't want my kids to be in a Catholic school, that's not my religion, and I'm not going to condone that. There's many reasons why they may or may not, agree with you. And the bottom line is that if you just let things be and you let her put them in Catholic school, then you're tacitly approving it, and you're going to have to pay for it.
Yeah.
So if you're going to fight this issue, now's the time to fight. And all you got to do is during the week, give us a call at 215-227-2727. These are the very issues that Irina handles on a regular basis. And it sounds like you're right around the corner from the Northeast office.
Yes, I will be calling tomorrow to make an appointment.
All right, dude. Have a great Sunday, and thanks for calling Court Radio.
Thank you.
Irina, we're out of time. I really appreciate you coming on and tackling some of these tough questions, and congratulations on your Supreme Court victory.
Thank you, Dean. It's always a pleasure.
All right, be well. Folks, we'll see you next Sunday, same time, same place. Have a great week, and if you need me, 215-227-2727.